Welcome everybody to my mystical realm. I'm starting to get mm, really comfortable in here. I think I'll stay there for a long time. But jokes aside, I'll try to keep this simple and 10 minutes length. First, because I have a very bad connection here, and because I feel like it's more accessible. Like a 10-minute video, it's already so much to not put a short and ask the people to click and try to keep the attention for 10 minutes. But maybe you don't have to keep the attention straightforward. Maybe you just need like a brief moment of knowledge, of truth, of my truth, because it is what it is. My little perspective on the truth of this complicated yet so simple existence. Yeah. There are so many things I want to speak about, but I'm gonna focus on one that I mentioned on the last video, and it is how we can use the power of symbols as simple as animals to just see ourselves from outside, which is a powerful practice. But as soon as I say practice, many of you, like I would be like, I don't want to practice. So maybe we can call it a game. It doesn't matter, but it's so much easier than it seems. Because when you are inside of the storm, I always like to use figure and images and examples, because again, they are so easy. When you are in the middle of the storm, you cannot see. You cannot understand where you are. You are wet, you're soaked, you are confused. And you have two options. Now, you are infinite option, but let's reduce it to like two. You resist and you go out when the storm is finished, or you try to get some help. It can be from a person, it can be from someone outside of the storm. Maybe you don't have anyone around you to pull you out and to tell you, hey, look, it's okay. So what you can do is cast yourself outside. Because we have this overpowered mind since we are born. I'm not excited when we are born. We've been pushed to overpower the mind. So it's like a tornado that's so confused that doesn't even know itself. It's just there. It can be a powerful tool, but it gets way too much attention and it gets crowded and confused. So, how to try to get out without the need to meditate, to do yoga, to dance, to do whatever practice or movement or studies that can maybe take time. This is brief, I promise. Try to picture yourself as any animal that you want. Any animal that maybe you feel connected to. I bet you do. As much as rational as you can be. There's some animals, and remember, there are not only cats and dogs in this world. But I'm gonna try to guide you. You can be an eagle. Do you ever feel like an eagle? This proud being that watches everything from abroad, up in the air, slowly flying, staying stable with the wind, looking down, so proud of himself that he suddenly knows what to do. Don't you feel it? As much as I don't relate too much with the eagle, it's so clear. It made me think of a beautiful story. That could be a topic for another video, but I'm gonna make it short. I was speaking to a powerful person about the wolf And he gave me the most simple answer that shocked me. He said, the wolf is inside us. He was speaking about, without saying that specific word, but he was speaking about archetypes. Something so old and unconscious, but alive in us. May it be old memories, may it be the collective unconscious, doesn't matter. We can easily connect to archetypes. We just have to give that little intention, besides the fact that they guide us in every single way. We are living deities and divinities that still, as much as we pretend to not do that, we are in the midst of something bigger than us. And again, making it simple again, as much as I was looking up and outside, it's inside. The archetypes are in us, and like astrology, not thinking about moving balls around, but thinking about symbols, about all the truth in those 12 signs, which many of them are just simple as animals. And it's not about maths or movements or studies. It's way more easy. It's also studies, it's also complicated stuff, but the root is simple. So let's go back, because you're arriving at 7 minutes, I want to be fast. Let's go back to the animal thing. Yeah, just pretend that you are some sort of animal. I like the hedgehog figure a lot because it's very, very, very specific. I somehow like, in relationship especially, it tends towards people that maybe when you first see them, they're like graceful, sweet. You can see the little face. You cannot see that much, but you can. They are friendly, but as soon as you try to go too near, they show you all their spikes. They don't want you to, as much as you come nearby, they don't want you to access to deeper parts of them, because it's like they are misled to think that it's dangerous to allow people to see vulnerable parts, so they close. How easy it is and how powerful it is. The idea of someone protecting himself with spikes because he doesn't want to show you like the vulnerable parts, and how true and material is that, and at the same time how deep and mental is that. Yeah, it's everything is mental, as the Kybalion says. But yeah, do you ever feel like an hedgehog? Do you ever feel like that as someone touches some parts of your... No, this sounds wrong. As someone reaches for depths, as something touches you deeply, you're like, no, this is a dangerous place. I don't want to be there. I feel like I'm in a scary place where everything can happen and I'm unsafe. You are always safe. You are always safe. What was it? By the way, you have to decide if it's reasonable to expose those parts of you to who you choose to. But trust that as much as you delve into the depths, you can also touch the sky as the eagle. And one last example, no, maybe more than one. Do you ever feel like an ant? Do you ever feel like you're just following the plot? You're just following everybody around, getting food, getting rest. Maybe you like ants, maybe I like ants too, but not that much. I'd rather be way many other types of animals than just an ant. Or look at the snake. Do you ever crawl? Do you ever have these sneaky movements around? Do you ever gaze into somewhere without making noise? Well, you're embracing the snake power. And why we like Pokemons, why everybody is crazy about Pokemons, pocket monsters, because they are animals, but they are colorful. They remind us of our childhood, of games, of probably something like very good memories of times that does not exist anymore. But they are just animals who embrace elements in a more clear and specific way. Of course, they're cute, they have that artistic part that we all desperately driven to some just beauty. We're driven to beauty. I mean, there's also the gambling part of Pokemons, but yeah, if you go to the root, again, making it as simple as you can, if you go to the root, they're just colorful animals with powers that maybe real animals doesn't have apparently, but they do deeply in a more subtle way, in a not necessarily silent, but in a more symbolic way. It's all about symbol, and I will never stop to speak about symbols because it's it's the way, at least for me. Yeah, the way is in symbols, it's not in words. The way is in everything that leads us to something, not in a mental manner. The compass, at least for me, my compass is pushing so much towards colors, symbols, sounds. Again, I always say the same stuff. As much as words are powerful, books are powerful, studies are powerful, you cannot learn that much with the mind. You can, but only in specific stuff. In more rational manners, yes, you need the mind, but we are not only that. Many of us will live only with that part, but I used to, and it's not my cup of tea. I'd rather drink some beautiful, emotional drama. Okay. I hope this different, more grounding approach, maybe because I'm sitting on the ground. A little bit more calming. I was so fired last time. But yeah, again, I say always the same thing. Seasons, we embrace them, but at the same time, when we are under the storm, we don't dig our own grave just because it's rainy. We try to enjoy the rain, and we know that it will end. Or we do another step, which is we take responsibility for how we feel, and somehow we put, in a relative way, the weight of the world in us. We take responsibility. Because guess what? Maybe it can be sunny outside, but you feel rainy inside. Isn't it because of things that happen to you? Or is it because you needed those things to happen to put you in this uncomfortable state that will make you want to crawl out of it? Okay? I feel like this can be it. And I hope you go back to try to feel like an animal and exit a little this powerful tool that is the mind that we overuse. We abuse our mind. Sometimes it maybe says, please, stop. There's not only me, use your heart, use your senses, use everything, but yeah, give me some rest. Nah, she will never say that. She will always be tut, 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 tut. She will always dance, dance, dance with this rhythm, infinite rhythm. Okay, that's way more than enough. Bye.